Hi everyone and welcome to episode 83 of the Voices of Boyle podcast. Today our guests are our good friends Colin and Aethel Beirne. We're delighted to finally get this pair sitting in the hot seats, and myself and Carlo take Colin and Aethel on a journey way back when to growing up in Galway for Aethel and growing up in Boyle for Colin. We talk about the usuals, the gala festivals, we talk about the balloons, we talk about games of rounders up in Plunkett Avenue, Hares and Hounds, all the good stuff. And Aethel also takes us on her own journey to what it was like growing up in Galway and what brought her to Boyle a couple of years ago and eventually meeting Colin and the journey that they've been on since together. So turn the volume up and enjoy episode 83 of the Voices of Boyle podcast. Welcome to the Voices of Boyle, Colin and Aethel. Great to have you on.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us your time on this lovely Saturday morning. So we're going to start with the blowing.
The dirty blowing.
I wasn't going to say dirty, but anyway. So Aethel, tell us a little bit about your story, where you grew up and what brought you to Boyle.
So I'm originally from Galway. I was reared on a farm out near Tuam till I was about 8 or 9. It was my sister, my mum, and my uncle. It would have been my grandparents' house the house that my mum was reared in. And we moved into Galway City then when I was about 8 or 9, and we've been in there since until I kind of went off to America then in 2006. Yeah, so going back to the farm, I loved life growing up on the farm. When I look back at it now, when you see kids with all the technology and everything they have, it was, it's lovely to look back on that and have the memories. We grew up with sheep and cows, but we had a pet donkey, and every little lamb we had was called Bob, and they all died, or most of them died or got taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to feed the little lambs, and then we had Jackie the donkey, and yeah, life was great. Life was great on the farm, so I always look back at that fondly. So yeah, we moved into the city then, and I went off then in 2006.
And what was it like going from the country to the city? That must have been a big change.
Yeah, it was. I moved into school halfway through 3rd class, so that was really hard. There was a bit of bullying. So that was kind of difficult. I was the little country girl moving into like a big housing estate. It was a lovely housing estate, but next to it was another housing estate that was kind of rough enough. So a lot of them kids would have been in the school as well. So a lot of that kind of going on. So it was hard, like the first few years, because we kind of lived in the one house for a year and we moved somewhere else for like 2 years. So we kind of moved around a bit before we had settled. But yeah, no, it was kind of good after that. Yeah.
And you mentioned America there. So 2006, was it?
Yeah, 2006.
So you spent a couple of years in America and then returned to Ireland.
Yeah, I headed off in 2006. Headed over with a partner of mine at the time, and we were gone for about 10 years. So we lived in Las Vegas, Utah, Alaska and California. So 4 very different places.
What was your favourite place, Aethel?
Well, I would have been 4 years in California and 4 in Vegas, so I suppose my heart would be with them. But I mean, I lived in Salt Lake was a year, so very interesting with the 4 seasons, the scenery, Mormons, all the history there. And then Alaska for a year, which is obviously very different. So I kind of went from where you can, as I do say, fry an egg on the ground to where you throw a glass of water up in the air in Alaska and it comes back on you like snow, So very, very different, yeah.
And coming home then, it must have been a big change because America obviously is so, the States are just varied. I know we've spoken about this before, but like life is very different over there.
It is very different. I came home from San Diego and that's where I would have been the last 4 years, but I think because we were so long in Vegas before that, we had kind of done a lot of trips up and down to Vegas while we were in San Diego. So we'd spent a lot of time back in Vegas. And my whole idea of coming home was I wanted to come home from Vegas and I felt like I started there and I wanted to end it there. Do you know what I mean? And plus we had a dog that we were bringing home with us as well. We had Hank, who passed away last year. We had him for 16 years altogether. So, yeah, I had got him in Vegas originally, so I had brought him travelling around America with me and came home from there. So yeah, I wanted to kind of finish up there on a high.
Yeah.
I remember coming home well, we'd probably gambled a lot just to kind of finish on a high. But I remember coming home, I said, I'm going to spoil myself with something, because we were making good money at the time. And I came home with, I think it was $700 pair of Louboutin shoes.
Wow.
I had bought them in Caesar's Palace and I was like, this is it now. I'll go home and I'll be broke and I'll have no money. And I said, I'll come home, and they were like 4-inch heels, and I wore them once when I came home, and then I sold them because they were the most uncomfortable
I was
shoes
just
ever.
going to say, if you were staying in Vegas, you probably would have got a couple of wears out of them. But coming home to Galway.
yeah, it was my last little hurrah before coming home. Yeah.
And then back to Galway for a little while, and then eventually all roads led to Boyle.
Yeah, I came back to Galway, was in Galway, came back in July and ended up in Boyle August the following year. So like I said, my partner at the time, his mum had just, long story short, randomly had just wanted to leave Galway for years and just had ended up in Boyle, and she ended up down in Patrick Street, and we had come down to visit her. We were looking for commercial and rental premises in Galway at the time, and there was nothing coming up because Galway is so expensive. So there was no intention of anything happening in Boyle other than visiting his mum. And we came down to visit her a few times, and then she had offered us the downstairs of the building that she had owned for us to open up the tattoo shop, which is what my ex-husband had done. So yeah, when that was offered to us then, I think because we were just kind of stuck, not knowing what to do, or, we were just at a bit of a lull. So, yeah, she offered us that. And I think after living in the hustle and bustle for so long and then coming home, I was always like, I'm a city girl. You'll never take me out of the city. I'd never live in the country again. Like, I suppose because I kind of saw Boyle as the country, even though I know it's a big town. But, coming from America or coming from Galway. But no, just something about Boyle. Yeah,
And what were your... I'm always interested for people that I suppose aren't from Boyle. I suppose Colin and ourselves, we were born here and grew up here. But what was your first impressions of Boyle?
Well, I'm someone who, if I'm going somewhere and I know I'm going to live there, because a lot of times in America, it was always a last minute decision. Like one time it was literally a few days, we're leaving, we're going here, I got a job here, I always, if I know I'm going to live somewhere, I'm always like, I want to see what's up this road, I want to see what's up here. And I started driving around and I was like, that'll be my doctor and I'd love to live there. Now I'll go looking for houses here. So I took a lot of interest in doing that while I was in Boyle. And it was during the summer months as well, so the weather would have been good at the time. And and the river, just everything kind of stuck out to me, So yeah,
We always think if we go somewhere and we want to see what it would be like to live in, we always think, but would we get bored very quickly after, a few months of living in the same place? So did that ever pop into your head? Like, as you said, it feels like the sticks, it feels like the country. Did you ever think that maybe I get like a little tired of Boyle pretty quickly?
It might have been if I was just coming here to live, but I think because we were in the mindset of opening the business, because we had been home a year at that point and the business hadn't been opened and the money was just sitting there and we wanted to kind of get cracking with it. So, yeah, I might have thought that if I was just coming here to live, but maybe that wasn't my train of thought at the time. It was just solely focused on getting the business up and running, getting a house to live in, just getting settled, because like I said, we were home for over a year at that point. All our stuff we had sent our stuff home on a shipping container, so it didn't arrive home until maybe 6 months after us, but it was still stuck in storage here in Ireland. It was actually in my aunt's house. So I just wanted to unpack. I wanted my own bed. I wanted to hang my pictures on the wall. I wanted to have all my American trinkets around me. I just wanted to feel comfortable and, not be living in my sister's house. I just wanted our own place and just to settle. I just wanted to settle,
Yeah.
And then all roads led to Colin.
All roads led to Colin.
Makes me very quiet.
Yeah, so I had met Colin through his job. I don't know how long was I here? I think I was over a year here, was I? Yeah, I was over a year here, and met Colin through his job, which tied in with the business we had at the time, and yeah, I knew him for about a year, and it was funny because he used to come in and out, and any correspondence he had with anyone, it was me. So if he was ringing me, telling me he was coming or whatever it was, and yeah, I didn't think much of it that way, probably just because I was married at the time. But I do know that every time I seen him, I was like really excited. So obviously, as an afterthought, now that we're together, and when we got together, it was like, oh yeah, there was something there, you know. But I'll let Colin tell you maybe how he felt.
Right. So let's go back. Let's go back. So, Colin, you are from Termon.
Yes, Termon Road.
So tell us.
The best.
Yes. Well, it is. Termon is one of the original, one of the oldest parts of Boyle as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe bring us all back and tell us your kind of earliest memories growing up in Termon. What was it like back in those days of the 80s, I presume?
Jesus, Carlo. 80s. No, definitely not the 80s. Well, I was born in the 80s, but I was actually only thinking about this the other day because I kind of knew it had come up in question, but a memory I have of my youth is, I don't know, do you have this as well, Florence, but always having chapped lips from being outside because we were never inside. So I always had chapped lips as a youngster because we were out, hail, rain or shine, and we'd always have chapped lips, like I said. So I suppose to give you an explanation of what Termon was like and Boyle was like in my youth, it was just being outside all the time. So we were very rarely inside. I think the only time in our house when myself and my brother Jared were inside was when we got PlayStations. But I mean, we had the PlayStations and a mix of being outside all the time on bikes, playing football, stuff like that. So my youth in particular was definitely, it involved the outside, the outdoors, the wilds, the trees, the bushes, everything. We used everything to entertain ourselves, and it was a great youth, definitely.
Yeah, because that's one thing I remember as well from being from the centre of town myself. Termon, Marion Road and Churchview.
Yes.
If you went to any of those locations, there was always kids out playing on the street.
Yeah.
Like loads of kids. And it's these days now, especially Termon, I see it because, just all the time going up past your house, there's no one on the streets.
It's empty,
and that's that's kind of sad in a way as well, that kind of era is gone, where playing, rolling around in the mud, all that stuff is gone.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate in a way but that's probably just the way it is. But so Boyle, you're a young fella, you're going around Boyle, were you into football, soccer, Gaelic?
Yeah, I suppose all the usual things that youngsters was into, soccer and Gaelic, and more so Gaelic football. So I suppose all the underage football from about under 12 up to senior level I played, and the same with Boyle Celtic. I never made the Boyle Celtic first team, not like you, Carlo, but I think I played on the
brief
reserve
period
team.
now, Colin,
I know you were there all the same, I remember you. Yeah, so look, I suppose my youth growing up in Boyle, there was always something to do. Do you know what I mean? You were engaged in soccer, or you were engaged in the GAA, or fishing. Fishing was a big part of my youth as well. I fished. Yeah, okay. I fished an awful lot and took a big interest in it as a youngster, and fished all the rivers and lakes around the place. And it was great because fishing was a way to get away from everything, and you got out and you got down the river and you were fully focused on your task at hand, which was to catch a big fish. So it was great. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And shops wise, like the likes of myself, Christy Wynn's, Bob Fears, they're all kind of iconic shops of my youth. So for yourself, would that be something similar?
Yeah, definitely. Jeez, I don't know, Aethel, would you have ever heard of Bob Fears? You've obviously heard of Christy Wynn's.
I've heard of Christy Wynn, yeah.
Yeah,
Bob Fears was up there as well, the old Penny Sweets.
So Penny Sweets.
What was the name of the shop?
Bob Fears.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't a nickname we put on it. It was Bob Fears.
Bob Fears was the name of the shop.
The owner of the shop was Bob.
Okay. I didn't want to ask that.
I don't know, was that his real name?
I'm not sure,
I
but
don't think it was. Maybe someone listening would know and give a comment, but I'm not sure if that was his real name.
You see, you probably have more of a memory than me, but was it up the lawn? Or what was up the lawn?
So, what's his name? Frawley, what's his name? He had a shop up there.
Do you remember that? It was a shop and there was games.
Don Frawley.
Don Frawley. And it was called Don's.
Yes, now I have it.
And that was up
original.
That was up the lawn where I think the Chinese's.
That's right.
That was the rough location. And that was kind of Bob Fears 2.0, if you like. A more modern version, a bigger, obviously, the pool tables and that. But no, them shops are iconic as well for our youth because, and of course, there's a lot more as well. But yeah, so like apart from football, a bit of fishing, was there like early like school discos? Was there any of that kind of going on back then in those days that you remember?
I suppose
when you were a teenager.
There was Ballinagare, you know that name, Flower. And there was Kilchima. Do you remember Kilchima?
Oh, Kilchima was the big one. Now we were going to Kilchima.
Was that the N17?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That involved the big bus.
Yeah. And there was Mohel. Do you remember Mohel as well? Yeah. So there was all them discos. I mean, I don't know, do they even still exist? Or did they still run?
I don't. Now, having said that, we were in town late last night and there was a couple of young ones getting off a bus. So there's something on somewhere,
Okay,
but definitely not our haunts. They're all kind of finished with. But
yeah, there were great spots.
Oh,
geez, there was never really any hassle at them. It was just you looked forward to going to them, I suppose. And
do you remember, Colin, like waiting for the Roscommon Herald to come out to see was Ballinagare going to be on?
Yes, that brought it back there.
We'd be in school and we'd be waiting for the Roscommon Herald to come out and straight to the back page. Oh God, it's on this Friday. I have to get the £3, together to get the ticket.
The original social media.
It was. Yeah.
And it's amazing as well because there's a certain level of innocence to that.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like that's, to me, it doesn't exist nowadays. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of all changed, but it's a good memory, definitely.
The younger generation wouldn't even know what that meant. Like to look at the back of a physical paper.
Yeah.
To get the date of a disco or something like that.
Yeah.
Into town then you'd find out you'd have for the girls anyway, you'd have the outfit sorted on the Thursday, just to be ahead of time, and the borrowing would go on. You'd be like, can I have your top? Can I have your O'Neill's?
Yeah.
And then Friday, of course, had come Friday evening and straight down to Moya Milani's.
Yeah.
Get the bits. And onto the bus then. But as you said, it brought everyone together. Like if you remember, you had the lads from Elphin, the Strokes Town.
Yeah.
They used to come from all over.
Yeah, true.
And that was the original connections then with people. And you still meet people today that you know from Ballinagare.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Good memory, definitely.
And then Cleo's Parkers. Those days, they were a different kettle of fish altogether.
And Tapsters was another one.
But that's
Carlo.
it, Tapsters.
Yeah.
That was, I loved
short
Tapsters.
But very sweet.
Yeah, it was. It was a short period of time, 2006, I think, to 2008, I think. And then Mal and Angie.
Melange.
That's right.
It was called Melange.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And that was great as well.
It was good. And I actually thought it lasted. I thought Tapsters lasted a lot longer than that. It seemed like it did.
I think it was about 2 years, 2 or 3 year window.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But those were good days. But like the Cleo's days prior to that and the Forest Park Hotel in conjunction was, beehive of activity.
The place
buses coming from Ballymote.
Yeah.
Usually for an old scrap or two, but that was all part of the fun back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Town has changed a lot since that. Definitely. Yeah.
I want to take things back again, but to the games, Colin.
Yeah.
So obviously we both would have grown up. The field up there in Plunkett Avenue was the centre of everything.
Yeah.
So we'd have rounders. Denise Tiernan was in charge of that.
Curbs.
I think she had
Do you remember Curbs?
Yeah.
Was it called Curbs?
Yeah. And marbles, of course.
That's right, yeah.
And the round bowls. Do you remember those?
I remember them.
Yeah. That was a bit of a meeting spot indeed. But there were, for anybody that doesn't know it, I think they were in something to do with the mill up there, the old mill or the old co-op or something. They were like grain.
Was Cantons?
Yes. Yeah, you're right, Carlo. Sorry.
Cantons was... I think they owned that.
They were at the back of the NCF.
That's
today.
right. So I actually think what they were was, looking back now, they were the base of grain silos, and it was like a concrete structure that was shaped like a bowl. And we called it the round bowls. But what I remember was every one of them had a name. I don't know, do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they did. And everybody had a favourite round bowl. And we spent, oh my God.
Months in there.
I remember when skateboards became a big thing.
Yes, you
and
could.
People were going around on the skateboards.
I had my skateboard. I loved it.
Yeah.
It had a big American flag on it. My aunt had bought it for me, and me living out in the country, I thought it was just amazing. And I had roller skates as well.
The 90s, the kind of early to mid 90s was the real sweet spot for the skateboard era.
Yeah.
And there was one bowl that was bigger than the rest, or steeper than the rest.
That's
and
right.
Not everyone could go into that one because some people got stuck.
Yeah.
Do you remember trying to... We used to make like a bridge of people, a line of people to try and help people that were stuck.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah.
And then you mentioned fishing there, Colin. So obviously that would have been Boyle River, but would you have went over to the floodgates in Assy Lynn as well?
Yeah, so two other iconic spots and names, the floodgates and Assylin. Yeah, definitely two good fishing spots, but two kind of popular meeting spots as well. I suppose Assylin for swimming. Everybody from Boyle knows Assylin. One for the graveyard and two for the swimming spot.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it as popular as it used to be now? Probably not. But I remember in our youth, Florence, maybe from the age of 10 to 15, it was alive during the summer. There used to be bonfires out there. There used to be parties out there. There used to be everything out there. And the floodgates as well. The floodgates was a great spot for fishing and for meeting and swimming as well, I suppose. So it's all those spots are still there, but I think it's just kind of a shame that they're not as popular as they used to be, and they're kind of just left idle as it is, you know. So yeah, but good memories.
I think we've become, well, like, you know, you think back then, oh sure, everything's overgrown now and things like that, but nothing was cleaned up in our day either.
No.
Like there was no one out there kind of chopping the grass and cutting the grass and things like that. Like it was rough and ready.
Yeah.
But that's all we had.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And there was no, do you know what I mean?
No health and safety issues.
Jeannie Mac, no, and definitely. And even that, what you said about the round bowls, I mean, when you look back now, they were dangerous places.
We're lucky we got out with our lives.
They were very dangerous places because they were big and there was big drops and there was bits of steel hanging out here, there and everywhere. And we probably did get cuts and scrapes, but thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So...
And I always remember when I was young, Assylin, I always heard was such a dangerous place because of the current and the water and that. And Doon Shore was the safer version, because no one went back in those days out to Rockingham to swim. Rockingham was kind of like forgotten. Doon Shore was this kind of spot, and Assylin.
Yeah.
And I always remember, I never ever went up. I can remember ever going to Assylin. Never swam there, nothing. Mine was kind of Doon Shore because I always thought in my head it was safer.
Safer, yeah.
And I couldn't swim either anyway, so it didn't matter.
Didn't matter where you went.
Didn't matter where I went. But there was never any problems in Assylin from no one ever drowned up there or anything. Yeah, exactly. So.
No, but even Assylin, like, because of the way I suppose the river's structured up there and where people went swimming, like I seen some people up there, and because of, I suppose, continually going into the water in Assylin and swimming up there, they became fantastic swimmers.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like some of the guys I hung around with, Damien Tiernan and Wayne Suffin, these guys would swim the length and breadth of Ireland if they got into a river or lake. They were brilliant swimmers. And to me, this was all from the practice they got at Assylin. Like, do you know? So it was a great spot to learn how to swim and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.
When you were new to it, I suppose we always went, say, down where the pier was.
That's
and they
right.
had the two little sheds. But when you progress then, like the likes of Wayne and Damien and the bigger lads up to the thirds.
The thirds, that was it. There was the thirds, was there the seconds?
The seconds,
yeah. And there was the little kind of baby pool.
But it was
nobody
perfect.
ever went into it.
It was perfect though.
Yeah.
Into the baby pool then.
Yeah.
But
a natural training kind of regime.
It was, yeah.
You progressed.
I distinctly remember one day, again, health and safety, but I think we were a bit tougher back then as well. I think we were a bit smarter because we were more aware of things.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we were just had to be. But we were in the seconds, I think, and a dead cow came down the river, you know, and there was shouts from the thirds. There's an animal coming. There's a cow coming. So everyone just literally just got to the side of the banks and let the cow pass and back out to go again. Could you imagine that today?
Yeah.
Well, you'd be quarantined.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's how it was. And then you go off and you have your ham. If you were lucky, you had a ham sandwich or something with you, and ham and cheese or something.
Because all our parents used to come out with us as well. You remember our parents used to come out with us, and everybody'd be out there.
And they'd be all minding. Well, mine never made it out, I'd say, but everyone was minding each other. Like I remembered the parents there, and they'd keep an eye on everyone's kids.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the summers back then were actual summers.
Yes.
That was the difference as well.
Yeah.
You had guaranteed weather. You could plan. You didn't have to worry about, will it rain? It was just, you might get, I do remember distinctly, there might be a few days where there'd be maybe grey skies, but everything else was just, the sun was shining.
Yeah.
Blue sky.
Yeah, it was nice.
You know, guaranteed summers, you know, which is such a shame. Again, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
The younger generation doesn't know what it's like to really have a proper 3-month summer. So there's always that.
And then the sizzle of the tar, like it was so hot back then. And sometimes I do think our memories distorted, and we have this perfect vision of what it was like, and it wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
Or was it really like that? But I remember the tar sizzling. The minute school finished for the summer holidays, all the clothes went away, as in your trousers. You had maybe 2 sets of shorts and trousers, or 3, and they kept you going for the whole summer. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like it was magic.
It was. And it's what you said there about I suppose it's how you look at things and how the youth looks at things now as well. Do you know what I mean? It's to them, it's not about being outdoors, I suppose, as much as they can, because they have games and they have phones and stuff like that. But when we had to use the outdoors to entertain us, we probably took in a lot more, as in the tar sizzling and the stuff like that, you know.
And do you remember, Colin, the Hares and the Hounds?
Yes, I do actually, yeah.
That was good old crack.
It was, yeah. We used every street and every nook and cranny possible.
Didn't we?
Yeah,
Literally every bit of the town, and you'd say, oh, you're allowed Termon and Plunkett Avenue, but not beyond that.
Yeah.
So explain that game, because I don't know it, do I? Murder Tig was my thing.
Well, yeah, like Tip the Can as well. Do you remember Tip the Can? Yeah. So I think
did you get a baiting?
No.
Because the Murder Tig you did.
No, we were nice to each other.
Yeah.
Tip the Can was like a solo person. So one person was on the can, or whatever it was called. And they had to count, and everyone else went hiding, and then they had to go and find them. Hares and Hounds was a team.
That's right.
Team game.
Yeah, but kind of on a similar thing.
Yeah.
So it was just, I suppose, to give an explanation of them, it was just a lot of running about and a lot of hiding and a lot of, do you know what I mean? A lot of fun. Simple as that, you know.
So then, what are your both recollections of the Halloween period then in your respective youth? Like, so in Boyle there'd be the penny banger days, and knocking on doors, water balloons into someone's face, innocent stuff. What about you, Aethel? Had you those kind of experiences?
All I remember from that time of my life was bin bags and chalk. Chalk to draw on the skeleton, and bin bags for the witch, and the hat, and going into the pound shop and buying the little plastic masks, and the sweeping brush, and then you'd get apples, monkey nuts, and maybe a few coins. Yeah, that's what it was like going around the actual country. It's funny that I actually say, oh, you're like country people to me, because I've come from Galway city, but like I actually nearly forget that like I was actually reared in the country.
Yes, yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
We had do you remember, Florence, we had our favourite houses to go to, where we know we'd get the good stuff.
Yeah.
On the trick or treat.
Yeah.
I think
and you'd be out early, and you'd have those houses done first, because they would run out.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, we're going straight there.
And what we used to do as well was we used to switch outfits or switch masks and go back to the same house maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But I think they copped on. Yeah.
Poor old Paddy Delaney got a couple of visits a night, because he just used to buy sweets, whereas everyone else you get apples or monkey nuts.
Yeah.
Mrs. Flynn, she used to make the homemade buns.
That's
remember?
Right. Mary Coleman's poor Mrs. Coleman. Yeah. They were always kind of the get to them spots first.
Get to them spots first, and you'd have all out.
Yeah.
What's in your bag?
Yeah.
But they were brilliant. And Halloween, I think it hasn't, it's changed, but I still think it's a magical time of year.
Yeah, there was always a lot to do, and there was always I suppose out with your friends doing that trick or treating, and just kind of getting up to, I suppose in our view, getting up to no good, but it was innocent fun. Like, do you know what I mean? There was no malice to anything we did or anything like that. It was maybe a bit of knocking on doors and running off and hiding, but like I said, no malice to it whatsoever. There was no it was all good fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely more for the younger kids now, isn't it? Because years ago you would have seen even 10, maybe 12, 13-year-olds doing it, but I don't think you'd see that now.
And then the trick-or-treating really has changed as well, because people are of the opinion now, oh geez, I can't be going to someone's house, can't be disturbing them.
Yeah.
And I think that has ruined it a lot. So they're going maybe to discos and things like that. But I just think the trick-or-treating is such a lovely, lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
But I also think in recent years, as we said, Halloween has kind of migrated towards being a more adult thing as well.
Yeah.
The fancy dress parties, whereas parents back in the day just brought their kids out doing the trick-or-treating, and there was nothing to celebrate, really. Whereas
Yeah.
nowadays you have fancy dress parties and stuff like that. It seems to be more adult based in a way. And
Well,
I don't know if that's an American thing either that's kind of migrated over.
Yeah, well, I would have been in some houses in America where they would have went all out. Like there was one couple particular in Salt Lake, and they used to take all the furniture and everything out of their kitchen come sitting room, and they'd have plastic all on the ground, all going up the walls. Kids would be gone for the night, and him and the wife would, whatever theme they'd have every year, it would nearly be like, you know how Heidi Klum does hers every year. They would go mad, like a lot of money, and they'd have this huge house party and just drinking. But yeah, I suppose it is like the Americans. It's like Paddy's Day. The Americans make it
Bigger.
so much bigger than what we would here, not really even knowing, you know, what it means for us here with Paddy's Day and Halloween, and where it originated from, you know.
And Colin, did you come up as far as the top of Termon for football? Remember Lee and them used to play there at where the ambulance does be. The good games of football there.
Yeah, there was games of football everywhere. Everybody that had a gate at their house, we played a game of football. But a distinctive memory is the banging of the ball off.
Yes,
do you remember off that gate?
Yes, it was loud.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10 it was Lee McKillen out kicking it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lee was a genius of street football, a genius of football, full stop. But that was a kind of a spot that we played. Lee, John Connolly, myself.
Hours.
Yeah, Aaron Sharkey. There was a lot of boys. We played football there a lot. But yeah, there and up Plunkett Avenue at the field that we talked about earlier, kind of the street leagues as well. I don't know, do you remember that as well, Carlo?
I do. Marion Road, Termon, Churchview, Forrestview, those street leagues?
Yeah. And I remember we all, the street leagues were so big, in my opinion, back then, like we were playing against Forrestview, against Churchview, that they used to be like transfer markets as well. So
that's right.
We all got together like 2 or 3 or 4 quid, and we like bought Damien Dooley for a week or something like that.
Wouldn't
to come and play for Termon.
A movie based on all that just be fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you remember then Ian Beirne?
Yes, poor old Ian.
Yeah, he was instrumental in that. Yes. He loved that.
Yeah, he did.
Whole scene. Especially, I always remember Ian down in the pleasure grounds.
That's right. Yeah.
And if he was such a character. Yeah. Back in those days.
Football fanatic.
And everyone knew Ian, and Ian knew everyone. Yeah. He was a great character.
Definitely. Yeah.
Moving on, Colin, to a bit of fitness back in those days. So, what year was it that you actually competed?
So I suppose the bodybuilding competition I competed in was 2012 in Waterford. So it was the one and only competition I competed in. To bring it back, I suppose I started that whole journey, I think I'm going to say maybe 2007, 2008. So I would have played football for Boyle GA Club up until about the age of 22, 23. And I ended up going down the country working and kind of falling into a gym down there. Do you know what I mean? There was a gym close to where I was staying, and got into a bit of gym work and just took to it straight away, got a buzz for it, and came back up to Boyle. And I utilised the gyms that was up here. There was the gym at the complex. I don't know, do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
That was kind of started. Darren O'Flaherty had a gym up there. And then Darren's Place Results in Boyle, and trained a lot in there. And we had a lot of, I suppose, locations where we trained oral leisure.
Do you remember the prefab down in Boyle Celtic, Beirne and
do,
McGuire?
Yes.
That was the first gym,
I suppose, it was.
Boyle.
Yeah.
And some of that equipment is still now
on the go.
In Results.
Yeah, I do remember that actually, yeah.
So that was the original one. Then the complex one was there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was around the same time Paddy McKeown and Diarmuid Conroy and yourself you weren't in the same competition?
No, so what happened there was I think mine was 2012. I think Paddy's and Diarmuid's was the year after. I'm nearly sure they were 2013 now. I could be wrong on the dates, but for each competition, the one I did, I suppose, in Waterford, and the one that the two lads did in Limerick, we all went down to support each other. Do you know what I mean? So there was a good group of everyone that was big into the training went down to support it. And it was good. A great experience, definitely. Definitely a great experience.
So in the build-up, like you mentioned there, you got into the kind of the training in a couple of years prior to build up, but when did you maybe mentally decide I want to set a date to compete in a competition, bodybuilding competition? Because I remember those days as well, down there, like you were strict, like everything was on point.
Yeah.
You have you were training X amount of times a week. You had to.
Yeah.
So was it a year prior to that, or was it 2 years? Because it wasn't obviously just a last minute spur of the thing that you were.
I think it was a year. I'm going to say about a year. And I kind of set myself a plan of, I joined the Irish Bodybuilding Federation, the RIBBF, the Republic of Ireland Bodybuilding Federation, and there was kind of correspondence over and back between me and them about upcoming competitions and about stuff like that. And I was given dates, and I says, do you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll compete at this date, X date, whatever it was, and kind of set myself the target of being in this sort of shape so many weeks out. It came to like 10 or 12 weeks out, and I remember the very first time I put on a set of posing trunks, because I had to order them from the UK or from America, one or the other, and they came and I put them on, and I'm like, I'm not doing this, not a prayer.
Fake tan as well.
Yes, the tan as well, but it kind of from I suppose the 10 to 12 week mark out, it all started to come together. Do you know what I mean? Everything started to come together with the diet and with the restricting yourself on water and stuff like that.
So can you tell us a bit about that? Because I'm always fascinated to go into the nutrition side of things when it comes to training like that. What were you eating, and what kind of meal frequency in the lead up to that? What was your?
I suppose because it was my first competition, I think I made the mistake of dieting too far out. So you kind of give yourself more chance of making errors and slip-ups. So you're not as harsh on yourself to get in shape. You're saying to yourself, well, I still have 12 weeks or I still have 13 weeks. I can do this, I can do that. So I kind of found it hard to get in to the mindset of restricting my carbohydrate levels and being so strict with my meal plan. I did find that hard at first, but as I said, I started to get into it slowly but surely. I had 5 containers, Carlo, of a grilled chicken breast and vegetables, and I suppose that was my diet for 10 to 12 weeks, 5 times a day, that chicken breast and vegetables. And yeah,
that in itself is discipline, because a lot of people couldn't physically, put the preparation in that's needed.
Yeah.
But then to actually eat 5 meals a day like you had to.
Yeah.
To keep the system going. And then I always remember the day before when you were down in the gym and you were saying, I have to have a sip of wine.
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
So the day, I think it was 24 hours beforehand, or 48, one or the other, I started restricting water levels, and the idea of that is it defines the muscle more, so it kind of strips the body of all water, subcutaneous water that you're holding just underneath your skin, and it starts to define the muscle that's underneath it a bit more. But along with restricting your water, I suppose you can use like a natural diuretic or something like wine, a glass of wine. Alcohol is a diuretic, so it dehydrates you. Black coffee, stuff like that. So yeah, a couple of glasses of wine, plenty of black coffee, and it was like the day beforehand, I looked at myself in the mirror. I had everything done, my tan, my pose and trunks. And
have you seen them pictures?
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah, okay. I have them on my phone.
Aethel pulls them out every now and again. She's like, "That's Colin."
Well, I was going to say we have to put 1 or 2 of them into the post that goes along with this.
Oh, I don't know.
to give a nice little rounded picture of everything.
Yeah.
A couple of photos would be nice just to see, because I remember seeing you for that competition, and it was crazy. Like to see all the work, the preparation, and to get into a physical condition like that, it's on a completely different level. The discipline that's needed to get into that shape is, I can't understand it because I've never done it, but it's on a different level. A lot of people wouldn't understand that the discipline, because I remember even talking to then Dermot and Paddy McKeown for their one, and it was the same thing. Like it's just so strict.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's no point.
Well, it is. You don't want to get up on stage.
Exactly.
I suppose,
you have to look the part.
Yeah, and I mean, Dermot did very well in his. He got second in his class. I think it was a junior class, and I think Paddy even won his class. So these the efforts they made, they went above and beyond. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose it didn't only just come down to it did come down to the diet and then your preparation and stuff like that. But when you're up on stage, you can't see anybody. You can only hear people because there's lights on you. But not only that, and I do tell Aethel about this from time to time, she's cringing. We had to do a minute of a posing routine.
That's right, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, our own posing routine. So you'd have your mandatory poses that the judges would be calling that you have to do front double bicep. Or
You'd have to reenact that in the bedroom later for me, Colin.
I don't know what the posing trunks still fit. But you had your
spray tan on,
you had your mandatory poses that the judges called out, but then you got to do your own routine, a minute long, with your own song,
freestyle kind of
freestyle thing. And I still remember my song, and I still remember doing it, and it was
what was the song?
It was a Creed song, My Sacrifice, or something like that. Yeah, there was like a minute at the start that I thought, do you know what, this is perfect. Do you know, so yeah, but look, at the end of the day, it was a brilliant experience, one that I have memories of it engraved in my mind forever. Do you know what I mean? And I have photographs of it, and I can always say that I
you did that whole, you went, you had a goal, you achieved the goal. And you never then afterwards, Colin, had an inclination to say, I'd like to maybe try again next year or the year after. It was done and dusted. It was like, that's... Yeah,
I suppose it was done and dusted. Now, when I seen Dermot and Paddy doing so well, I thought, you know what, maybe give it another go. But you have to flick the switch. And if it's not fully flicked, you know, you'll get to the point that you'll say, I've just wasted all this time and I'm not in the shape I want to be in and stuff like that. So it's a great experience. And like going back to the gyms, Carlo, we trained together numerous times in all the gyms, I suppose. It was always a great
atmosphere.
It was a great meeting point and like we had so much crack, and it wasn't always gym stuff. Do you know, we went down there and we talked about everyday stuff. We had the crack, we did a bit of slag, and
there was no phones as well, really.
There was no
back
phones.
In the 2010 era. 2000, okay, there was, but no one brought them to the gym.
No,
and they weren't smartphones. They were probably just the button phones.
Yeah, they probably were.
Right. Well, maybe the actually, I don't know. But it wasn't
what it is today anyway. You weren't just sitting there on your phone.
Well, Results Gym in particular was great, I thought, because like some of the guys that trained down there, you remember them.
Yeah.
They were all business. Do you know what I mean? These guys were coming in, and if you said anything to them, even hello, they were like, what are you even talking to me? That was their mindset and stuff like that. But it was like, I'd advise anyone get into fitness. Fitness is brilliant. It's amazing what it can do for you physically and mentally. And it's just like that, the kind of, I suppose, the bond and the meeting spot, and it's kind of like a little
community.
Yeah, it's a community and a club you can go to. You know, it's good.
Well, definitely. I think we're, in a way, the younger generation are certainly into, as a whole, way more into their health than in our generation.
Yeah.
Where there was the handful of us that were, you know, going.
Yeah.
I think the younger generation now, it's great. They're big time into their fitness.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, in a way, social media is a lot to play for that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of, it's more visual and they want to look up, but it's a great that they're into their fitness. Because, again, unlike our generation, there isn't as much drinking on a consistent level. Of course it goes on, but like as a whole, it's not like that.
Well, I think, go back to, I suppose, our time when we trained, Carlo, what we strived for was kind of like, oh, what's your best lift, or what's your best bench, or what's your, like, there was guys in there in hoodies and big tracksuit bottoms and stuff like that. There was nothing on show. They do their whole gym session like that, no cameras, no phones, nothing going up on the internet. We'd be impressed if we got X amount of kilos on a leg press or something like that, where now I don't think it's more geared towards image and what's kind of going up on social media. And at the end of the day, that's the way it is. People are still engaging in fitness. They're going to gyms. They're getting themselves in shape and keeping healthy. But it's just transitioned into a kind of like to me, the image of it more than the what you can achieve on the bench press or the squat and stuff like that, you know.
And that comes obviously with a whole host of problems in terms of, it sounds like what you're saying is when you were going, like, ye were trying to better yourselves.
Yeah.
And it was like, what can you do? Whereas now it's more of a focus on what can he do or what can she do?
Yeah.
And they're kind of treating it that way.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them in it, but yeah, you'd hope that it's for the right reasons and that they get the benefits and it's in a healthy way, kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to maybe, you're a family of 3 now and going to be a family of 4 early next year. So your current baby's Lulu, the dog. So we just want to talk briefly about your journey to getting Lulu and where you got her and how important Lulu has been.
So, like I said earlier, we lost Hank last April of last year, so just before the wedding. So that was devastating. He had been sick for a while. So to lose him so soon before the wedding was just, as you know, you were a massive part in helping me through that. That was very difficult. So, yeah, we just, you know, you have to give yourself time to heal. Yeah, and I think it's only natural. Like, we were always looking at dogs online, even nearly soon after. But like, we wouldn't have gotten one straight away. But just looking, you missed that kind of heartbeat in the house, didn't we? Like, it was hard.
Definitely.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I always followed Soy Dog Foundation in Thailand online, and I'd always known of them, and they were such a big organisation. However, there's also a guy, Niall Harbison. He's from Ireland and he has his own facility in Thailand. I had reached out to him at one point when we felt we were ready to get another dog, just to see what the process was in getting a dog over from Thailand. However, I never heard back from him because he is obviously so busy. That's fine. And next minute we were still looking on Facebook and all the local areas. And next minute she just popped up on the Leitrim Animal Welfare page. So Law is what they call themselves to shorten it. She was the second group of dogs from Thailand to come in, but she was the last of the 9 from the second group. So I mean, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. And like, I fell in love with her when I seen her picture before I even knew any of this story, you know. So I remember ringing them to go out and look. It was like a weekday and we couldn't get out till the Saturday. And I said to Colin, I'm in Carrick now doing the shopping. I said, like, I better go out and just see her and see if we can at least hold her till Saturday, do you know, because I was so nervous she'd be gone. So I went out anyway and seen her, took her for a walk, took a video of her, and I think I video called you as well, I think.
Yeah, you were sending me videos.
Yeah.
Pictures
and
of
I
her.
was like, oh, she's gorgeous. Oh, God. And so then we went out then on the Saturday and we seen her. And it was instant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, considering she was a street dog from Thailand, she was a year and a half on the streets when she was found. She was in the facility then, in the Soy Dog facility for 2 years. While in there, she did have surgery for hip dysplasia, but I think it was just a genetic thing. I don't think it wasn't anything that happened to her in there. And then she was sent to Ireland then, and I think she was in Leitrim for 6 months. So, so we took her home. I think the following week we had a party the following weekend, so we couldn't take her. So it was a week or two later then when we were able to go and collect her. And, oh God, it was so weird. It was so emotional because knowing that she was a street dog, we were like, oh, what's she going to be like at home? Like, what was she going to be like with the stairs, with the hairdryer, with the Hoover, with the blender? Like, we didn't know how she'd fit in. And we were like, oh, we can't have any visitors now for maybe a week. And, you know, we let her settle. Well, she just walked in the door.
Yeah, that was her house.
I was like, I'm home.
And not a bother. And it's so funny because if the postman comes, if the doorbell rings, even when you guys call, she's just like, whatever, just sits there. And we have the video on the camera in the house now, and you can watch her for hours while you're at work, and she literally does not leave the one spot in the couch. Like, she's so funny.
She's well at home.
Oh, she's hilarious.
And talk to us a little bit, Aethel, about, so obviously Leitrim Animal Welfare has been instrumental in giving Lulu her forever home. So for anyone that's listening that might be thinking about getting a dog, what would you say to them?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the girls that work there are amazing. They're a very, very small charity. It's obviously a non-profit organisation, but they do a lot of work with the dogs, and they do a lot of charity days as well. Like, they do be in around the pet shops and that. I know they probably will have a day coming up at some point where they want to reunite all the Thai dogs. So I don't know, we're waiting to hear for that, but that would be lovely. But definitely, if anyone, I mean, the process of getting it, they're obviously very thorough, you know, in what homes they will send the dogs to, but yet the process was still fairly quick. Like I said, they're a small charity, so they just want to see the dogs get rehomed. And
it's so important, I suppose, to go to centres like that and look at the dogs that are actively needing a home.
Yeah.
And Lulu's story has worked out well for her, and she's found her forever home.
She has. She has such an amazing story, and like we have a little harness on her that says Thai dog or her name, and it's so nice then when people see that, because I just enjoy telling the story over and over again, because she's from Thailand, because she had never had a home, and because she was a street dog. We also think she probably had a litter or two of puppies, so we often wonder of her.
Where's her
history? Yeah. We actually only sent away her DNA test the other day to see what she is, so we're waiting to get that back in a few weeks. But yeah, I just love telling people her story. Yeah.
And imagine from Thailand to Boyle.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like, when I brought Hank over from America, and he was my little Hank the Yank, my little American dog, and now she's our little Thailand dog with just as interesting of a story, So it's lovely. Yeah.
Lovely. And I suppose the balloons have just finished. We just had an amazing week with the balloons here in Boyle. So obviously we'd have Colin and ourselves would have the memories of the balloons back years ago. But you yourselves got out this week to see the balloons. What did you think?
Oh, it was amazing.
It was brilliant. It was great to see everybody out there. And it was great to see the balloons back, and just that iconic noise of the gas burner. It's very distinctive, and I have a memory of that from years ago when we were young, Florence, and it was great to see it. Like, I remember years ago up Termon, always looking down. I suppose if I was looking down towards your house, the end of Termon, we'd see the balloons probably coming up from Lough Key.
And you were telling them about your competition in school.
Oh yes, the writing competition that I won in national school. I'm not too sure, but anyways, I won a writing competition. I'm a great writer. And the prize was to go out and go up in a hot air balloon out to Lough Key.
So you thought, anyway.
I thought I was going to, see half of the world.
Gone.
Gone, yeah. But I'm just going to say I was about 10 at the time and went out to Lough Key. I remember it distinctly with one of the teachers, and this was great. And got into the balloon. The balloon, I think, went up about 10 foot and came back down again.
But you did get a spin in the balloon.
I did get a spin in the balloon, but it was great. But yeah, always remember that image of, and in particular, I don't know why, and I've said it a few times, the Fanta can. Do you remember the Fanta can balloon?
I think it was Club Orange.
Club Orange, you're right, yeah. I remember seeing that. And it was great to see them in the sky. But yeah, we went out on a couple of occasions, and it was fantastic. The amount of people that was out there, the buzz that was about the place out there, and
the AM flights were amazing, weren't
they?
The colours,
the pictures,
the lights. Yeah. Monday was really the best day for morning or evening flights.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. And I think, like Lough Key is gorgeous any day of the year, but just to see the crowds of people back for anything at all, it's and
it's the perfect location.
Yeah.
Lough Key.
And I think it should be utilised more for events like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, if we have the Night and Day, which has been there the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's coming back. I'm not sure.
And now they have the tower. They had the DJ in the tower this year.
Exactly,
so that was cool looking. Yeah.
And if you could have, as you said, a few more big events like that.
Well, Dermot's great now. He has big plans.
Oh, brilliant.
So
yeah.
I suppose
Dermot
in
will
this
be.
day and age, it's the red tape, but this and that. But he has big plans. So hopefully if his plans come to fruition, we'll be very lucky.
Didn't you tell me there used to be concerts in Lough Key years ago?
Do you remember Rock the Lock and all that?
Rock the Lock. Yeah.
But definitely Dermot was, instrumental, Dermot Beggan, in getting the balloons back.
Yeah,
after
fair play to
31 years.
Yeah.
So he deserves a lot of credit to try and even get that meeting in place initially.
Yeah.
Are they back now for a while?
Well, they were back this year. Who knows if they're coming back next year? Don't know what the agreement was there.
Please God, they will.
Yeah, because they've kind of been in each spot. They've been in for a while, so hopefully we'll have them for another while.
If we got them back for a second year, because obviously the last flight was Wednesday evening. And it was meant to be, Thursday and Friday, but due to the conditions, the high winds, so a lot of people, I think, because the Saturday and Sunday were completely out as well.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people were maybe that didn't get during the week were banking on get maybe down Friday. But it's such a pity. But hopefully they're back.
Yeah,
Dermot, if you're listening, get the balloons back again.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't that lovely though, Colin, as well? Because that's obviously something you've talked to Aethel about many times, and now she got to experience them in Boyle, which is phenomenal. So now you have your own experience, your own memories.
Definitely,
yeah, it's lovely. Just this time next year we'll have the baby. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And a few of the balloonists that we talked to had said that it was easily, especially on, I think it was the Tuesday morning flight with the mist
fog.
and the fog, they said that was easily in their top 10
Really?
flights in 20 years of ballooning.
Yeah.
That location was in the top 10. So that tells you, you know, how special of a place Lough Key is.
Yeah.
And as you said, we should utilise it a lot more.
We should, definitely. It's a great area, and there's a lot of history there, and it's
and it, like, you know, when people say, oh, something's on your doorstep, like that is on our doorstep.
Yeah.
Even for me and you, because we live, like, we can walk up to it from our house because the side of town we're on. So it's beautiful. Just to, like, even for me when I was getting ready in the mornings and just seeing them come, it was Tuesday morning, I think, well, I seen a lot of them, but in one go, in one view, there was like 6 or 7 of them. And it was kind of foggy, but it was just lovely just to sit there and see them. It kind of gets you excited, you know. So yeah, it was really nice.
It was.
Yeah, so I think I wanted to ask a few questions, Colin, about St. Mary's.
Yes.
We both went to St. Mary's, and of course it's a big part of our growing up, and everyone has their own St. Mary's story over the years. What would be a standout memory for you during your 5 years as well? You were in St. Mary's.
I think I did 4 years, Carlo, and I was, were we the first leaving certs in the new school, Florence? We were, weren't we?
Yeah, we were in the St. Mary's and Squel Crease on Reef for the 4 years, and then we were the first ones to do our leaving cert in the Abbey Community College. And we were in the old uniforms while everyone else was in the new uniforms.
Yeah. So I suppose a memory, oh God, I have loads of memories of St. Mary's. I suppose the football side of things, again, there was always great football teams and good football coaches. There were teachers that obviously did a bit of football coaching. But a memory I have of St. Mary's, do you remember we used to play the football on the tarmac? Do you have that memory down the side?
Yeah,
there was kind of like
between the complex.
Yes. So we used to play the football on the tarmac there, and I remember slide tackling on concrete, the likes of Dean Taylor and Neil McQuaid and Thomas Casey, and there used to be holes, physical holes in our trousers, but we thought nothing of it. Do you know what I mean? It was just stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? St. Mary's was a great experience. I suppose when we were in it. It was getting a bit old. Do you know what I mean? The classrooms were old and dated. Some of the doors had big and small holes in them and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, good teachers. Some of the teachers were getting a bit dated as well, I suppose, when we were.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it was an old school, and it. I suppose everybody kind of knew the plan of the new school being built and stuff like that. So. Great memories from St. Mary's College. Definitely the old green, wasn't it a green uniform? Had we a green uniform? Yeah,
green jumper.
Green jumper, yeah.
And
the memory is getting bad.
If I put you on the spot now, if you had to pick one favorite teacher and and a favorite subject. I never asked this one before to anyone, but a favorite subject, if you have one, and a favorite teacher that.
This is an easy one, actually.
Okay.
I bet you it's English.
No, well, I had a very good English teacher, Mrs. Crine, Mary Crine.
Okay, right.
Yeah, brilliant English teacher. But I suppose my favourite teacher, Tony Conboy and history, definitely.
Okay, so the two went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony did geography and history.
He did, yeah.
But Tony was a brilliant history teacher, and I suppose I had a small bit of a bond with Tony as well from the football, because he was heavily involved with the football around Boyle. But I loved history. I do love history, and yeah, Tony was a brilliant history teacher, definitely. So he would have been one of my favourites.
Yeah, because I knew obviously you were, no more than myself, you liked a bit of history, especially local history, and I suppose that makes sense then that you got that kind of grow from back in the school days.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose that's really it. I suppose, Aethel, you're the blow-in again, as we say. So I suppose let's just touch briefly on the community of Boyle and what that means to you. You're going to have a baby early next year. You're going to obviously raise the baby in Boyle. What does the sense of community mean to you in Boyle? Like,
Well, I think, like I said before, when I moved here, it was the mindset of opening the business, kind of getting stuck into that. So, I had met a lot of people that was helping me out with that. And I suppose from going around handing out the flyers and leaflets, and I was going into a lot of businesses. So I kind of got to meet people in the community really quick, even if I never got to know them after that. But initially, yeah, and it was just such, I suppose, coming from America too, where it's kind of each to their own and everyone for themselves. So it was very nice to come back to that in Ireland in general, but especially in a smaller town then like Boyle. And I suppose now that I am settled here and I am with Colin, and we know kind of what Boyle has to offer, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot going on here that people wouldn't know about. It's easy to drive through a town and you think, oh, is that just the town, or is that all they have? But no, definitely in Boyle, yeah. And I look forward to raising a child here. I think there's a lot of kind of activities to do and kind of things to get the child into. And
I mean, Boyle
you'll do sports and stuff with her because we're having a girl. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to offer here. And even when we had initially opened the business, the amount of congratulations I had gotten on the Facebook page. Chantel from the flower shop came over with a lovely plant when we had the opening day, and things like that really, because I'm a softie, so things like that really kind of touched me.
Yeah.
So that was lovely, and it just made me more realise, I'm glad this is where I've settled. Yeah. And I suppose when I split with my partner and met Colin soon after that, I kind of had no intention of leaving Boyle. I was kind of just here for a while on my own, and I had no intention of even going back to Galway. And you would think when you're here on your own, you'd want to go back to your family, and I did. I wanted to stay here. I'd settled here at that point, and I love Boyle. I love Lough Key. I love the town. I love the people. Yeah,
good stuff.
You're a sound all bunch.
Not too bad. And one thing I'd like to kind of get your views on is, where would you like to see Boyle in just say 5-10 years time from now, with the way kind of the landscape, not across Boyle but across the country, is kind of changing? Is there, every town can improve in some way, shape or form. Boyle is no different. Is there anything infrastructure wise or visually that you'd like to see Boyle grasp?
Well, a lot has happened even since I've moved here. Say I've been here 8 years, so a lot more, as as businesses open, some close, but I think a lot has happened in the town. A lot has went up. But yeah, you can.
I think, it's a good point, but it's a lot of the areas in the town that are closed down, they're fantastic buildings. Do you know what I mean? These buildings are left idle, and is there anybody out there that can invest in these buildings or see a potential project or see something in these buildings that they can utilise them or open them for? Boyle has some fantastic facilities. I mean, it is two of the best, in my opinion, two of the best sports clubs in the country.
Massive.
Boyle Celtic is Boyle Celtic in the last 10 years, Carlo, leaps and bounds with
even in the last 5 with the Astro, now the Hal Cawley stand, and they're currently building the new changing room, viewing room, function room. That's going to be huge.
It's huge for the community, and it's going to incorporate, I suppose, kids from under 8.
I think it's under 7s.
Is it under 7?
I think it's under 7s.
So that's amazing. That's getting kids into sports really early.
Right at the very early.
Yeah, right up to senior level, getting adults involved and stuff like that. And the same with Boyle GA Club. Boyle GA Club has an unbelievable facility down there, pitch, training facilities, dressing rooms, stuff like that. So these are two great sports clubs that's in the town, two great facilities. The library been built. This is going to be huge as well for the town. And a lot has been done around the town in the terms of the footpaths and I suppose the roads and stuff like that. So it would be great to see the buildings that are idle, that are not being utilised. I suppose some of them are getting a bit shabby because they've been standing for a while. Do you know what I mean? If they were utilised for whatever reason, it would make a massive difference to the town. Do you know? But as Aethel was saying, she loves Boyle. She's been only here a while. I've been in Boyle 40 years. I can't get out of it. But I suppose there's a reason I can't get out of it.
You don't want to.
I don't want to.
Exactly.
And I love it. I love all the areas of Boyle. I love the people of Boyle. Do you know what I mean? people will say, oh, there's not a lot to do in Boyle and you only pass through it or whatever. But to me, there is a lot in Boyle. Do you know what I mean? When you know the town, and for those that are new to the town, if you make an effort to get to know the town and make an effort to get to know the people, which is important, you can actually see how much it has to offer, definitely.
Exactly. Well, that's a good way of segueing to the last question that I have, and that would be, if you have a time capsule and you can put one thing into it. It could be anything. It could be a shop, it could be a memory, it could be a character, a person, whatever. You could put one thing into this time capsule, and the time capsule will not be opened for 50 years. And when it's opened, it brings back to life that thing you put in. Ichi, what would that one thing be from Boyle?
Well, I think I'd probably say this about anywhere. I definitely, as a lot of them go, which they are going, is all the little mom and pop businesses. Do you know, you'd miss that. There's something kind of unique about them. Yeah, I think definitely that.
That's a very Americanism there now.
It
so
is,
just
yeah, mom and pop. I actually remember when I first said that word, you were like, what is that? And I was trying to explain it to him. But yeah, just single-owned businesses, mom and pop shop, you know, like what you would have had even years ago here, the little fruits and veg, and, you know, even like what Surprises is now, or Little Londas, or any
like
places
a family-owned business.
Yeah, just like a little family-owned business. You'd always miss those. Like, it's a tough one because, you know, you want to see bigger and better things coming. You know, you want to have all that where you live, but it's definitely sad to see things like that go as well. So I'm always like support local.
Pick one mom and pop shop from Boyle and put that in the capsule.
Pick one mom and shop from Boyle.
Currently that you can think of.
Well, I suppose not that I go into it extremely often, but the likes of even Surprises. What's the
Better Buys?
Better Buys, yeah. Yeah, Better Buys. You would definitely, you know,
you can get everything.
Yeah, you can. And there's no other shop like it here.
You can get a wedding present.
Yeah.
You can get your kitchen stuff.
Yeah, you know, baby frame, anything. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, you know, because they've been here for so long, and I suppose your memory of when they had the cinema and all, you know, that goes back way further for you guys. But I think probably somewhere like that. Anywhere that's been here like a long time, that's well established, and that people know.
Good stuff.
Colin?
And Colin?
I think I'm going to be more specific. I think the town bridge.
Okay.
The Boyle Bridge. I love the Boyle Bridge. I know that sounds daft.
The main bridge.
The main bridge, yeah. I do. I love it. I love its design. I love its architecture. And for a while there, I was almost obsessive about what the old Boyle Bridge looked like. So there was a bridge previous to that bridge. I think it had 5 arches.
Right.
And it was prone to flooding. And I think that's part of the reason why it was changed to the 3-arch design with more of a hump in it. Now, I could be completely wrong with that, but I did a bit of research into it. And I actually found a sketch from 1810 of the old Boyle Bridge.
Never knew that.
And I was like, it was like a revelation moment to me. I was like, I didn't know what it looked like, and I obsessed for so long over what it could potentially have looked like. And there was a sketch that I found of it. So I think the Boyle Bridge, because it's like a central, it was a focal point, a central meeting point. Everybody has gone across it. Everybody has seen it. Who's to say will it be there in 50 or 100 years? Do you know what I mean? Possibly will be, but I think it's iconic. I'd love to, as you said, Carlo, put it into a time capsule and revisit it again in 50 years or 100 years' time to see has it changed again. So yeah, the Boyle Bridge for me.
Good stuff. Well, that's it. And just very briefly, is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to talk about, or have we covered everything?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Got our whole lives in there.
Yeah.
Lulu, the baby, everything. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Colin and Aethel, for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed being on the Voice of the Boyle.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys. It was great to talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you.